Today we're going to highlight some of the features of a high-end TL-30 burglary rated safe. I'm Robert with Acme Locksmith and you're watching Locksmith Recommended. Now when you're trying to protect valuables, I'm talking things greater than $50,000. You're going to want to be looking at high-end burglary rated safes like this TL-30 safe here by American Security. Now I did a whole video talking about the different levels of burglary ratings for safes. If you haven't watched that, I'll put a link to it down below. But a TL-30 is a very high-end safe. It's one of the most common high-end safes we see in homes. There are a couple levels higher, but they start to cost tens of thousands of dollars. Even these aren't cheap. This particular safe here will run you somewhere between $3,000 and $4,000. Now this is a small safe, so you think, well, what's it going to do for you? This safe is the CF2518. It weighs 1,200 pounds. This little guy, 1,200 pounds. So let's talk about where all that weight comes from, because weight is keen when you're talking about protecting valuables. One of the things you start to get when you move into TL-30, TL-15, TL-30 rated safes is you start to get a concrete composite fill between the exterior walls of the safe. Now primarily it's for fire rating. This safe here has a 2-hour fire rating to 1,850 degrees. That's massive. Most home fires burn around 1,100 degrees. So this is rated for 2 hours to 1,800 degrees to ensure that the content inside is protected. And it's this concrete composite fill that allows for that. Now, I don't know if you can see it very clearly here on the video, but this has got all sorts of gravel and rocks and other material in it to make it hard to drill through. Now you can get through this, you could smash it out with a hammer, but it does give you some added security, much more so than fireboard would. Now one of the things you'll notice on this is that these hinges are absolutely massive. And you'll get that when you get the TL-15, TL-30 rated safes. They want to make sure that they have some protection against getting cut off. Now even if they were cut off, you do have fixed hinges on all sides of the safe, the top, the bottom. They also go into the back. So even if they were cut off, you wouldn't be able to get in. But it's important to note that those hinges are so thick. When you look at a standard burglary rated safe, let me just highlight this one here. These are good size hinges. They're nice and secure, but nowhere near as massive as these ones that you see here on this TL-30. Now one of the things you're going to notice when you open a door of a TL-30 is the weight of that door. It is heavy. That's why you have this big giant handle, so that it could take that constant pulling and pushing on that door, because the weight of this thing is just massive. Now this entire door is a little over 6 inches thick, but this main piece of the door here, your security piece, is 3.5 inches. It is also filled with that concrete protective material to give you the fire protection and a little bit of extra burglary protection as well. But again, that's not the main focus of that material. You look at the bolt work and you are dealing with 1.5 inch steel bolts. So that's the largest that you often find in safes, so it's also very secure. The bolting mechanism is top, bottom, and back side of the safe. These bolts will go into here. So even if those massive hinges are cut off, that door can't be opened. Now I did start to unscrew this plate earlier. Let me just finish that for you, show you inside the door. So here we're looking at the inside door of the safe. Now this has a lot of defensive things that we've talked about before. You've got anti-drill plates. You can get an optional glass relocker on this particular safe. What you're seeing here is the first 3 inches, the main air gap, before you get to the 3 inches of the protection that you have there. So you're not seeing the entire 6 inches here because 3 inches of that is filled with material. And I just wanted to draw your attention to a couple things in here. One of them is this channel here for these bolts. This is a 1/4 inch solid steel channel. So when you throw those bolts, they're held in place. Also has a spring mechanism here so that when the door closes, it'll lock automatically and throw the bolts for you automatically. All of these bolts are very well secured in the safe with bolt work and hex head screw work so that they're in there nice and tight. Everything in this safe is welded into place for extra security and extra robustness. Right here behind the lock, I talked about some anti-drill stuff. You could probably, hopefully you could see it. Let me just, I hope you could see it right here. That is a 1/2-inch solid steel plate protecting that lock from a drill attack. You've got all that strength and material in the door, and then you've got that extra 1/2-inch ballistic steel behind the lock to make sure that it's very, very difficult to drill. Now, we've had to open these professionally for several people. A TL-30 rated safe, to refresh your memory if you haven't watched that video, basically means that a technician in front of this safe with all the tools, all the equipment, all the knowledge of the safes, the blueprints, whatever he needs, 30 minutes to get in. So those are just some of the features of the TL-30 rated safe. Again, if you're putting in a lot of valuables, this is the way to go. Over $50,000 in content. Don't skip on a safe. You want to protect that content with one of the best safes available. I'm Robert with Acme Locksmith, and you've been watching Locksmith Recommended.